Alright, so I'm going to be replacing the charge port on this Lenovo Legion 5 17ARH05H. Alright, so let me show you what's going on with this. The charge port here is basically destroyed. You can see it's missing the plastic piece in the center and the pins are just exposed there. The customer opened it up. I guess they tried working on it, but they couldn't do it. They bought the replacement parts here, okay, and we're gonna have to replace it. To replace this one, your best bet is to use what do you call, a solder hot air station, so that you can heat all these pins and pull it out at the same time, because you do need to heat up here, here, and all these other pins. The other alternative is you need a way to basically destroy this outer casing and remove it. And then once you can do that, then you can actually go ahead and get each pin out separately. But yeah, with a solder iron, that's going to be pretty tough. If you do it with a solder iron, you do want to heat this and then pull this out of the way, because it's connected to the ground, and that's usually going to take a lot of heat to pull it out. So anyways, let's go ahead and take this thing out. If you're wondering how to get the bottom cover and everything else out, I have another video showing that. I've worked on one of these before, but the customer already took all the screws out and everything, so we're just going to go ahead and jump straight into removing the motherboard, logic board, whatever you want to call this. Alright, we're going to first disconnect the battery here. Okay, so grab these and then kind of just wiggle side to side, and there you go. You can also kind of use the wings here and then pull that. That's usually a safer bet, but this cable is pretty long and sturdy, so yeah. Alright, so we'll pull that, get that out of the way. Now we're going to also disconnect the CMOS BIOS RTC real-time clock battery. So there's this. If you want, you can leave it attached, but you'd have to peel up the adhesive here. If you have like special BIOS settings you have, then you might want to leave this battery attached and not disconnected, otherwise it'll reset all your settings. Okay, so I'm going to just use my fingernails again at the wings of this connector and wiggle it to pull it back like that. We're going to also disconnect this little flat ribbon cable. This is a ZIF connector. There's a flip latch here. Right, once you flip it up, then you can go ahead and get underneath this little blue tab here, pull it up slightly, and then pull it back. I know it's hard to see. I think they actually also have adhesive under here, so this might not actually come out easily. I'm going to use this little tool to kind of help get underneath and peel up the adhesive here. Yeah, there's adhesive. You can see it's kind of tough. So once now that's loosened up, you can get underneath and then kind of lift slightly and pull it back. There we go. That's the touchpad trackpad cable. Alright, it looks like this laptop has an M.2 PCIe NVMe slot here, but it is filled with the SATA hard drive. But if you did want to upgrade, it looks like you can. There's also another one on this side, which this isn't what this video is about, but we do need to remove this. Oh, we need to switch to a PH0, JAS0 screwdriver. We do need to remove this to get the keyboard cable out. Oh, sorry, why is it not zoomed over here? Zoom out more. Okay, we do need to remove that to get this cable out. And yeah, so let's remove that. There's an M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD under here, so we'll get that out. Okay. Right, hopefully the only issue is that I think the customer said they did something where they kept using it, and then after a while the way it responded was different. Like before they would try and power it on and it was like flashing a certain way. Now it doesn't do anything. Alright, then we got the SSD under here. I believe this might be a PH1. Yep. So switched over to a PH1 JIS1 screwdriver. And this looks like an aftermarket SSD, so they added this afterwards. I don't know if it came with one before. Anyways, we're going to flip the keyboard connector up. Then you lift the cable slightly up and pull back. There we go. If there's adhesive sticking down, which it seems like there might have, you do have to get underneath there as well and pull that out. Okay, wireless card here. I'm going to leave the antennas attached. We are still using the PH1 JS1 screwdriver. And yeah, once we undo that screw, we can lift this up slightly. Let's untuck these cables from here. Okay, and if you're wondering why I'm leaving them attached, the reason is because sometimes the solder here is not too good, and pulling it out can sometimes cause it to break those connectors off. Alright, I'm going to untuck it from this little L shape down here, and then I'm going to put this screw back here just so we don't lose it. Okay. All right, again, you can disconnect the antennas. The way you do that, you just go from the tail and pull straight up. But sometimes, again, the solder is not too good, so I like to avoid doing that if I can help it. Also, I've had another video where I showed the RAM. The RAM's under here. I'm not going to mess with that because, again, all that we're doing is replacing the charge port, and we don't need to do that for this video. So, yeah, let's zoom out some more. Okay. Let's go ahead and disconnect the fan connector here. So I just get my fingernails. Make sure that you're just pulling up the connector for the fan and not the board connector. So you got to kind of just wiggle, and there we go. Pop it out. All right, and then we're going to get the fan screws out. Sorry. This laptop's really big, and it's kind of hard to keep it in frame, but I'm doing what I can. All right, so we'll get this out, get this out. Oh. Why is this one using a different size screw? So this one, for some reason, is using a PH0, JS0. And then this one as well. Okay, let's see. Does this just come out? Oh. Okay, this is actually underneath. So actually, we didn't even need to take out the fan screws. I'm going to put them back in. Okay, we didn't have to take the fan screws out to remove the motherboard, it doesn't seem. Okay, we just had to disconnect this. There are quite a few cables, so keep that in mind. All right, this one, because I'm using the small screwdriver, I'm not going to tighten as much. All right, now let's switch back to the PH1. All right, let's see here. What do we need to remove? So the heatsink will come out separately. This one, we're going to flip this latch. This, I believe, is the power button. All right, flip that latch. And then we're going to pull this cable out. So get underneath the blue tab and pull that out. We are going to have to take these metal brackets out. Let's actually switch back to the PH1, JS1 screwdriver. It's a lot of screws. You want to keep them in order. Yeah, so you don't want to mix them up because they are different size, shape, and lengths. The way I do that is I put them flat side down on my desk like this. In the pattern, I remove them. Okay? Excuse me. Alright, so you want to keep them all in order. It's a lot of screws. And you also have this metal plate. Alright, don't mix that up. So I just, again, put them in my desk, on my desk in the pattern I'm removing them. We got these as well. Oh, man, I hate how they like to keep switching screwdriver size. Switch back over to the PH0, JS0, or yeah, PH0, JS0 screwdriver. We're removing these two little screws. Again, the customer already kind of opened this and took stuff out, so if any screws are missing, keep that in mind. I'm not going to be able to show that because I don't know what was in here before. If you watch my other video where I've taken one apart, I didn't take the motherboard, Logicboard out, but if you wanted to see how it used to be, you could probably watch that video. I think I show close up. Alright, we're going to remove this as well. You can see they kind of like already twisted up this warranty sticker. I can't even find where the screw hole is. There it is. Okay, and we'll get that one out as well. Okay, you can peel off this tape because we are going to be heating this up later to pull it out. And if you're wondering, no, you can't just heat this up while it's in here because you're going to melt everything all around it. Okay. Oh no, we are going to have to undo the heatsink. Oh my god. Okay, we are going to have to undo the heatsink because they hid a cable underneath here, which means I'm going to have to end up redoing the thermal paste on this model. I didn't want to have to do that, but it looks like we're going to have to. So let's go ahead and take the heatsink off. So we're going to undo these screws. Don't undo one right away. You want to loosely undo each one a little bit at a time because this whole thing is attached in one big plate. Okay. So we're just going to go to each one slowly until you hear it click. That's how you know it's fully removed. Okay. Alright, and this fan we do need to remove because it's on top of the motherboard. But I think we can remove it after we remove the heatsink. And to remove this, you do have to wiggle it a little bit. Oh, actually, let's go ahead and remove the RAM cover as well. So there we go, because there's this tape here. Okay, and I'm just going to flip this over here and then lift the whole thing out. And there we go. Whoa, why is that? Why did that do that? That's so strange. Okay, so this is a thermal pad here. I guess it's supposed to be like that, and it kind of lifted up. So this has an extra one. I guess on some models they have the extra little thing underneath here, but you can see it doesn't have one. And here's the heatsink. We're going to set that aside. We are going to have to clean off the paste from here, and on the heatsink, but for now we're just doing that. Alright, we're going to go ahead and remove the fan connector here. Alright, let's at least remove some of the thermal paste from here, because if we start flipping the motherboard over, we don't want the thermal paste sticking on everything. Let's also see if we can figure out where this... Okay, so this was sitting like that, so this would go here. Okay, it just goes into that gap. So, let me flip this over. Okay, I'm going to peel this thermal pad off, and we're going to stick it back over to here. I'm going to use this just so I can kind of scrape it up. Okay. Kind of get this out. Okay, I'm trying not to tear it. Okay, so basically we're just going to stick this back over here. And you see they actually cut a little angle into it, so you can actually see exactly where it goes. I'm just going to use my fingers now. And we're going to line it up here. Try to put it back. It's difficult to get this line back up, right? But there we go. Okay, and then get that in there. Come on, get in here. I don't know what these yellow crumb things are here, but try and get them out. Okay. Gotta be very careful because you don't want to like make holes in this thermal pad stuff. Okay, there we go. So we'll set this aside again. We will clean this stuff off later, but for now I'm just going to set it aside. And we'll clean off the stuff on this one, just so when we work on it, it's not... Oh, actually their thermal paste is pretty dried up, so I guess it's a good thing we're gonna replace this. You see that? I'm wiping it and it's like stuck on there. Wow. Okay, so this repair is gonna help with a lot more than just... Okay, wow, that was stuck on there pretty good. Alright, we're gonna wipe up the CPU one as well. First one I did was the GPU. This one's a bit more pasty, not as bad. Okay. Once I get the whole motherboard out, I'm going to use a toothbrush, flip this over the trash can, and then just brush all that stuff out. Okay. Because it is stuck on there pretty good. Alright, we do need to flip this latch out and get this connector out. To make it easier, we're going to go ahead and remove the fan. And again, the fan has two different kinds of screws, which is annoying. There's a PH0, JS0. We're going to switch over to the PH1, JS1 and remove this one. Okay, and then we're going to take the fan out. And we'll move that aside. Again, there's a lot of screws here, so yeah, if you want, you can take this fan out as well. I'll actually take both fans out because I do need to clean it up. They are kind of dusty, so we might as well take them both out and then clean it up. Alright, again, we need to switch over to the 0. Okay, there we go. And we'll remove the fan here. I'm not an expert in soldering, so I don't know if there's specific temperatures or anything to use. But anyways, let's go ahead and get this connector out as well. This is the hard drive. Flip that latch and then pull that out. Alright, I don't think we need to take the whole board out or the whole hard drive out to remove that, so we're going to leave that alone. I'm going to switch back over to the PH1 because it looks like that's what's holding this screw down here. Okay. Alright, what else we got? I think that might be all the screws we need to remove. Okay, so let's go ahead and disconnect this cable. Very important. Alright, flip that latch up. There's adhesive under here. It's going to be very difficult to just pull this cable out, so you do need to get underneath here, and then yeah, and then we can go ahead and pull that cable out. So I'm going to get underneath here. This is going to be a bit tricky because of all the adhesive they decided to use, but peel that up. Okay, so I got underneath and I'm peeling it up slowly. Again, do this very slowly, carefully. You don't want to destroy anything. If you want, you can also drip a little isopropyl alcohol under here. That will help. Okay, but we're just going to get under here. Okay, getting underneath the adhesive. I don't know why they put all this adhesive. It's very annoying. Okay. Alright, you can see it's actually pulling itself out a little bit. Now we got the adhesive lifted up. We can go ahead and pull this out. Alright, let's zoom out. I think that should be it. We can pull the motherboard, logic board, again, whatever you want to call this, out. The RAM, if you're wondering, is PC4 3200AA, but again, this is mainly about redoing the heatsink. So there, or not the heatsink, the charge port. There's another screw up here. Another PH0, JS0. And I think that's the last one. Good thing I didn't try and pull it very hard. Okay. Now, we'll carefully lift this up. Wiggle it. There's all the cables that are in the way. So make sure, oh, there's one more cable attached underneath. So we actually do need to take the hard drive out. Okay, switch back over to the PH1, JS1. We'll get these 4 screws out, holding the hard drive. I feel like I've worked on one of these before. Not the same model, but very similar one. Okay, now that we got those 4 out, we can lift the whole hard drive up. Set that aside, and again, we have this cable attached here. So let me see. I can either take the adhesive out and then remove the whole thing. I mean, I have all this gunk here, so let me actually brush some of this thermal paste off into the trash can next to me, and then we'll go ahead and rotate to flip the whole board over. That way we can undo the clip here. All right, I'll be back. All right, I'm back. So let's go ahead and see if we can lift this up. Oh, there's also the connector here for the backlight. Oh, this is going to be tough. I think we do need to separate this out because the keyboard backlight cable here, they made this one as complicated as possible, didn't they? Alright, we're going to have to carefully peel up the adhesive over here. Okay, and disconnect this cable. So we'll flip this latch and then we'll pull this one out. Oh, did they attach this with adhesive as well? Are you kidding me? Okay, let's undo this screw and just take the whole board with it. And we're going to have to switch back over to the PH0, JS0. This is such an annoying design build. Okay, we're going to get this out. Yeah, I think they put adhesive under here as well. So I want to make sure it's not, I didn't pull it out at all. There we go. Okay, now we're going to carefully flip it this way because of the backlight cable. So we have the backlight cable. Oops. I don't even know if you can see. I'm running out of space on my desk. Okay, we got the backlight cable here. Flip that latch up and then pull that out. That's going to be annoying to reattach, but it is what it is. Oh, and we also have the speaker cable here. The speaker cable right there. Make sure to disconnect that. Alright, So now we got this whole thing out. We can flip this over. Let's see, is there adhesive holding this as well? Let's flip this latch, and adhesive is holding that as well. I'm just going to leave that attached. Okay, and now we have the whole motherboard, logic board out. It's kind of dusty, so I'm going to clean the dust off of here and the motherboard, and I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. So we cleaned it up. You can see there's a lot less dust on it. Okay, we are going to have to clean off the sorry, let's get rid of some junk over here so I have more room. We are going to have to clean off this stuff as well. I'm going to use the little plastic pick tool thing to kind of move it, and the toothbrush. But basically we're going to use a hot air solder station and heat it up from here, and we're just going to hold this up, so as it heats up, the weight of the motherboard will just drop it down. Okay, so we're going to kind of heat it over here. Try and avoid heating all this other stuff too much. We do need to warm it a little bit, but not too hot. And then, yeah, the weight of the motherboard, logic board should get that out. So let me clean this up, and then we'll get to removing this. I cleaned a lot of it off already, but just in case you want to see what's going on. So basically there's all these little things in the way. I'm just trying to get in between and clean it up. I'm not going to be able to get it perfect, obviously, because too much stuff here, but yeah, you get the picture. I'm just trying to clean this up best I can. It's probably going to take a while, but yeah. Alright, so I'm going to continue this, and I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. So here you can see it's a lot cleaner now. I also scraped off this stuff. I'm going to have to clean it with isopropyl alcohol as well as this. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll get a piece of paper towel. Okay. And we're just going to tear a piece. Alright, and we're just going to put some on the paper towel. Okay, just like this. Alright, and we're just going to wipe this down. Basically removing the oily residue from both sides. Okay. Alright, so there's that. And then the heat sink we're also going to have to clean up. We're basically just gonna, again, use isopropyl alcohol to dissolve the dried up stuff and clean that off. Alright, so I'm gonna completely clean this again, and I'll be back. Alright, took quite a bit of elbow grease, but here you go. That's what it looks like, cleaned up now. Alright, we're gonna set that aside because we do need to remove the charge port now. So let me go grab the hot air soldering station, and I'll be back. Alright, I got it set up. We're gonna turn this on. We have it set to 250 degrees Celsius. If it doesn't melt for whatever reason, then we're gonna have to set it higher. But anyways, let's go ahead and zoom in on here. Okay, and like I said, we're just gonna hold this up. So we're gonna hold the charge port up, and I'm lifting the whole board, and we're just gonna heat. Alright, and we're gonna heat this, and as it heats, it's gonna eventually just plop out. So that's the goal. And you do want to heat the outside surrounding area a little bit, just so it's not like all heated just to one spot. Okay, and then we're gonna slowly do this. I have the temperature setting very low, or not the temperature, the airflow very low, because we're not trying to blow parts away, we're just trying to heat this up enough to drop it. And I might need to readjust the part I'm holding, so hang on, because I need to hold from the metal portion under here. Okay, I was actually holding on the plastic on the top earlier, and that eventually will kind of melt. So alright, we're gonna slowly work our way around now, and it's gonna take a while because the area around these two posts, again, they are ground, and they do just go to these giant things of copper going through the board. So keep that in mind. Also, I use the larger nozzle because we're trying to heat up so many things at once. Oh, I think my customer might be here. so I might have to continue this in a bit. Alright, give me a second, I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. Let's continue this. As you notice, I put this paper towel underneath as well now. Let's go ahead and do this again. The paper towel shouldn't burn because I'm not going super close to it. But yeah, I just wanted it there so when it drops down, it's not going to drop on the harder surface. It's a little bit more padded. Okay, there we go. Let's go ahead and continue heating this. I'm likely going to have to up the temperature a bit. I don't think 250 is going to be enough. But we shall see. Okay, this is going to be a somewhat long process, so if you want, go ahead and just fast forward through. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to up the temperature a little bit. And the reason why I'm not heating it from the other side and pulling the part down is there's a lot more of those little capacitors and resistors and whatnot on the other side. I don't want to heat those up too much and then cause them to fall off. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to up the temperature. I have a feeling this isn't gonna do it, so let's up it. I'm gonna up it to 285. Let's see, in some cases I might have to up it to over 300, but let's see. Up the airflow a little as well. See, the plastic is kind of melting a little bit. Yeah, it's not budging at all. I'm putting all the heat on one spot and it doesn't seem like it's melting the solder. So we might have to up the temperature even more, because there's all this copper all around. So let's up it to 300 and add a little bit of airflow. See, the plasticky portion, I don't know if you would call it plastic, I call it plastic, but that part's melting a bit. And still nothing's happening. The easiest way is if you just chop up this plastic portion here, you can break that off. And then you can go ahead and grab each pin separately using a regular solder iron to heat it. I might end up doing that route. We'll see. Depends how much heat I'm going to end up needing here, because this isn't wanting to come out. In some cases it needs to be heated like to 400, but I don't want to heat it that much. That can damage stuff. See that? It's not coming out at all. Come on. I might end up having to go the other route. Let's see. Try a bit more heat. Wow, it's not coming out. I'm probably gonna have to chop it and then do the single pins. I don't want to make it too hot. I was hoping this would be the easier way. Should I turn it up and risk it? Let's try to do it more. Let's try. Melting off. Even with the heat concentrated in one spot. Plastic pieces are kind of shriveling and melting. Need the solder to come out. The solder's not melting. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to do it the other route. I don't want to damage this board with too much heat for too long. I'll give it another, let's try 10 seconds to... Nope. Alright, let's go ahead and I guess break the plastic piece off and then we'll try the other way. Alright, so let's go ahead and you see now this plastic's all soft. Normally that's not how I would peel it off, but you can see how we can peel this stuff up. Okay. And you can see we can get to the individual pins. Gotta be careful here. The plastic's hardening. I might have to switch over to the ones that are designed for cutting to make this easier. Yeah. It's hard to do this while filming because I have to hold it at a certain angle. Right now it's just on my desk. It's making it hard to see. So I might have to. Let's see here. Sometimes also just removing these pieces will make it easier. That's gonna be tough. I don't know. We'll try the heating the hot air a little bit more after, but I need to hold this closer to me to break off more of the plastic section, so I'm gonna do that and I'll be back. but you get the idea, right? All right, I'll be back. All right, so I'm going to be using this helping hands tool. I was given this to review by a company. I don't think we need these magnetic clamps, so let's go ahead and remove those. All right. Oh, this one's hard to remove. All right, let's see here. Stick these somewhere out of the way. It's nice that they're magnetic, so I can stick them on my area out of the way. Okay, let's go ahead and we're going to use these. So these have little spikes that will help hold the board in place, and hopefully that'll work. Here's what I did to the port. I basically broke all the plastic bits off. Basically just kind of found ways to pull it around, break off pieces, and then I was able to grab and slide the rest of it out. Okay, so let's go ahead and use this. I'm going to just have this go through the little screw mount here. Looks like that works well. We'll put this one over here. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I think this thing will actually work really nicely. Get the other one over here. Okay, we need one over here. Okay, so now we got a good solid working surface with it held levitated up. Okay, maybe I'll put another one. Since we have so many, I might as well just put them all here to help hold it in case I need to push down or anything. But I think we should be good. Okay, so we need to basically heat this stuff up. Let me zoom in here for you guys. So now we got to heat these and then slowly pull these things out. For that, I'm going to use a soldering iron. I feel that'll be more useful. Okay. So we're going to use the soldering iron, heat it up, and then pull it out with the needle nose pliers. So I have this with some solder on it. We might have to add some flux to help, but let's see. Wow, this thing takes a lot of heat. It's still not melting the solder to let me pull this out. What in the world? We're probably gonna have to add flux to help loosen this thing up because it doesn't want to come out at all. But it's also hard to grab this because it broke off. So let's see. Maybe I can grab like this at a weird angle. Okay, and let's try and heat it again. And if it doesn't come out, we're gonna have to add some more solder and stuff. Yeah, I don't think it's coming out. All right, let's add some flux and more solder here. So let me grab that. I'll be back. All right, let's add some flux to this thing. All right. There we go. And let's go ahead and heat it up. Okay, we'll also add some more solder. All right. So I'm going to heat it up and then I'm going to push some solder into it, and hopefully that will allow it to get more heat into it. Okay. There we go. Don't breathe that in. All right, let's go ahead and pull this thing out. Hopefully it will come out as we heat it. Okay, where am I going to grab this? There's not much room to grab it anymore. Here. Wow, it still doesn't want to come out. Jeez. The heat's going all directly into that pin and it's not coming out. Okay, let's try flipping it over. I might have to use the claw helping hands thing. Let's see. Maybe I'm gonna have to add solder to the back here. Okay. All right, let's readjust all these little metal spike things. Okay. Alright, sorry. A lot of this I'm doing is kind of off screen because I'm trying to adjust the placement of this to hold it. Okay, so let's go ahead now and add some solder to the backs of this, and maybe that will help. I think the stuff that's here is probably not good. Wow, okay, it's sticking really strong. Okay, I was able to push it down a little, so now I'm going to try and grab it with the needle nose pliers from the other end, heat it here, and then pull it down. Come on. There we go. Okay, we got that little leg out. Okay, get that off. All right, let's go ahead and pull the other one down. So here we have the other side. It's the whole casing because this one didn't break like the other. So we're going to heat this. We're going to add some solder there. Okay. And hopefully now we'll be able to pull this down. No wonder why the hot air wasn't working. Wow, look at that. I'm putting like a lot of heat into it and it's like hard to remove this. It moved a little. Almost there. There we go. Alright, so now we got this piece out. We are going to have to clean the old solder out. I'm going to use the solder sucker or solder vacuum, whatever you want to call it, to get that out. So we'll do that in a bit, but let's see if we can get these pins out. So we're going to have to heat each one of these and pull those down. Okay. And again, since we broke the plastic part and everything around it out, now we only have to heat each pin separately. So this should make it easier to remove these. Wow, the solder stuck to it and it's still not coming down. These things are really stuck on there. Okay, let's go ahead and add some flux to that. Okay, we're just going to put a little bit. To help remove any oxidation and stuff. Alright, hopefully you guys are able to see what's going on. I'm going to grab this again. We're going to pull it down as we heat it. Oh. I might have to add more solder to this one as well. Alright, let's add more solder to all of these, I guess. Yeah, look how difficult it is to get these out. Even with only needing to pull one pin, it doesn't want to come out. That's insane. Let me set the temperature higher because I only had it at 250. Could be that's the problem. Clearing these holes out is probably going to be very difficult. Wow, it still doesn't want to come out. Heat it from the other side as well. Yeah, it doesn't want to come out. Let's flip it over and then try heating from the other side. Oh man, it's going to need a lot of adjusting. Let's zoom out here so you can kind of see better what I'm doing. I'm going to have to take these out of the way again. Okay. Alright, and we only need 4 of. Okay, so I think we were heating this one. Let's see, how are we going to get this out? It doesn't want to come up. this guy, heat up the whole leg and try to pull it up. It doesn't want to move, oh my goodness. All the heat's going into this leg and it doesn't want to move. Do I need to set it even higher? I don't want it too hot. It's going to destroy things. How is it not moving? I'm going to hold this down and wow, even with all that, it's not doing anything. Let's try a little more flux. Try and get the flux onto this side. Maybe it's... Okay. Let's try again. It doesn't want to come out at all. Jeez. It doesn't want to come out. I don't know what I'm going to do. These pins don't want to come out. Let's try this guy. None of these want to come out. That's insane. I don't know what to do. They don't want to come off. Let's see here. The only other thing I can do is just, I don't know. I don't know what to do. They don't want to come out at all. Let's see, where did I put the other guy? Another one up here. I don't know what to do because these pins don't want to come out at all. I put a lot of heat and they're not moving. A lot of heat, a lot of solder, flux. Nothing's happening. Do I need to heat it to 400? I feel like that's going to destroy something. Let's get a little more flux on there. It's too much. Coming out at all. Okay, I'm going to clean it, add some new solder there, see if that does anything, but we already put a lot. Why is this not coming out? It's not coming out at all. It doesn't want to come out. Jeez. Okay, I'm gonna try turning it higher, but I don't know. It doesn't want to move at all. More flux. It's not coming out. At this point, it's going to be a whole bunch of burnt flux there. Let's see. Okay, let's try it again. Why won't it come off? Let's try more solder. I'm just going to break the whole solder, this leg off, and then see if that reduces the thermal mass and makes it easier. Because I don't know how else I'm going to... Come on. Just grab it. This thing's completely now falling down. I don't think that's going to do anything. Let's try and pull it, heat it, pull it. How is this possible? What is holding it? Okay, we'll flip it one more time. Put some more flux and solder and see. Jeez, I don't know. I don't know. If this one single thing is not coming out, how am I going to get the other ones out? Okay, let's see. I don't know. Oh, this way. Okay. Make sure I don't accidentally. The only thing with this is I have to make sure I don't accidentally pick up any of the screws on accident. All right. Some flux on this side. Pull this, I need to grab it. Oh, there we go. All right, finally got that one out. We'll see if I can clear out the little hole afterwards. Let's see, can we get this guy out now? This one. This one's not coming out either. Okay, let's go flip it over and then to the other side with the flux and everything. Sorry, I have to keep readjusting these magnets to better spots. Okay. Let's see here. So let's try and get this guy. Okay, I think what happened was I was doing the other side, but let's go ahead and get some flux there. Okay, we're gonna have to put some solder on there as well. Okay. Come on. Okay. Let's see if, oops, am I going out of view? There we go. Let's see if we can pull this guy down. Nope. Come on. More solder. Up and oh, it's not. Wow, this really doesn't want to come out. Okay, let's get more flux in there again. And then flip it over and do the same. Really doesn't want to come out. Okay, let's flip it over and do the other side again. This is a long process, man. Okay. See here. So we gotta pull this side up. Let's put some more flux there and more solder. All right. Let's heat it up and then add more solder there. Okay. Let's heat it and try and pull. I might have to bend and then almost break this one off like the other one, because it seems like that's the only way that it works. Let's bend this pin up. Wiggle it. Come on. Is it working? I think it might be working now. The wiggling helps. Yep, alright, it's coming loose. There we go. Alright. Jeez, these are a pain. Okay, next one. then I gotta clear out all those holes. This probably isn't gonna do anything on its own. I'm gonna have to add, it's squeaking. Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. See these? Okay, let's get out the other one over here. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to add more flux there as well. Right, and then we're gonna add more solder again. I'm gonna actually put the solder directly on the soldering iron, just so it will just stick directly. Okay, we'll grab this guy with the solder stuck on it. I'm just gonna wiggle it as I kind of heat it. Hope it eventually wiggles loose. Okay, it's wiggling. There we go. All right, so it looks like heating it and wiggling it back and forth helps get the corrosion off, or the oxidation. Let's see this middle one back here. Oh, this one was way easier. Okay, there we go. So that one was way easier for some reason. Now we got to clean up the solder there so we can drop in the new one. All right, so let me see. I'm gonna reposition the camera so I can hopefully show you guys this, and yeah, I'll be back. All right, so I readjusted this, and I'm actually now using these with the side grooves, as you can see. Oh, sorry, hard to show you. But yeah, as you can see, now I'm actually using it so that these just hold in the little grooves, and this works really well. So now what we're going to do, we're going to heat this, and then we're going to use the solder sucker to pull the solder out. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So the camera is going to be confusing to me now because it's actually upside down, but we'll do what we got to do. All right, so got the soldering iron. Okay, we're going to have to add a little solder to this one because it's kind of low. I don't know if I can zoom in enough to show this better. Oh, there we go. Okay, let's see. Where do I? Okay, so hopefully you guys will be able to see. This one needs a little more solder here, so we're going to solder this. Instead of looking at what I'm recording, I'm just going to look at what I'm working on, and hopefully that'll be good enough that you guys can tell what's going on. So we're going to heat that and add some solder in there. Okay, come on, it's not wanting to go. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to get that solder all over there. Sorry, you're looking at my feet, but here we go. We're going to use the solder sucker underneath it, and we're basically just going to heat this up and then press the button to pull the solder through. Alright, and it looks like it didn't completely clean it up. We're going to add some flux there. Hopefully that will help clean it up. Okay, then we got to add some more solder there. Might have the temperature too high right now. I'm going to lower it to 350. I'll probably have to lower it more. We'll see. Okay. There we go. We'll do the solder sucker again. Heat it up. And pull it through. Let me lower the temperature down to about 300 Celsius. Okay, let's take a look now. It's mostly cleared up. There's still a little bit in there, so we're gonna have to heat it again and then see if we can suck out the remainder. If not, we're gonna have to add more again and then pull pull it through. Yeah, let's see, it's not going, so. Okay, let's try it again. We'll have to add a little more solder again here. Just to fill the whole gap. Okay, we're gonna have to smear it around to basically seal it off, and then, all right. The top edge here doesn't seem to want to get pulled in. We're going to put a little more flux again and do this again. Okay, let's add some more solder again. Seal it off again. Okay. And then heat it up. Doesn't want to completely go through. Come on. Let's try with it a little over the edge here. It's not wanting to pull all the solder out. Let's heat it up, add some more solder again. Okay. There we go. Alright, that looks good. Let's go ahead and do the other side. Somebody's calling me. Hopefully it's not a customer. Heat it up and pull it through. Didn't pull it all out. Let's go ahead and add some solder again. Not wanting to pull it through. Let's add some flux again. Okay. Let's heat it up. And pull it through. It's getting a little bit slowly, and I don't know if the whatever solder they use is like very high temperature or there's a lot of impurities in it, oxidation or what. If somebody knows if I'm doing something wrong, let me know. I don't solder too often. Almost there. Let's put a little more flux in there. Maybe I should get that liquidy flux that's in a syringe. That might make this easier, but alright, add some solder again. Let me clean the soldering iron off. Some new solder. Okay. Clean up the oxidation. Heat it up and suck it through. Sorry, I can't tell. Looks like it still needs a little more. Hold on, I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. Let's continue this. Okay. It's not wanting to get all of it out. I'm wondering if I need to flip it over to do the other side, but let's go ahead and do some more solder here. And yeah, I might have to flip it over and do the other side. Let's go ahead and continue with the other ones. I don't think this is gonna work on these, because remember, this one was like really hard to do, so I don't know. Let me see if I look at the other side. I wonder if I can just flip it over because it has the little pokey pegs and I don't have to keep... Only thing is now it might lift up the board. Let me put another one on the other end. Okay. Alright, let's try heating the other side here and see if that just clears it out. Okay, let's see if we can now pull the rest of that solder through the other way. And... oh, that worked. Okay. I think the board on this model is too thick. That's the problem. Too well. Getting all this flux in here. Alright, let's try adding a little solder on this side as well. Okay. Yeah, it's not quite all going here to the edge. Let's try a little flux. Let's try some more solder. Okay. Oop. I accidentally knocked the board down. Okay, let me fix this and I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. Let's do this again. It's a long process because it's so difficult to get this solder out for some reason. Solder doesn't even want to move. Alright, let's get some solder. Soldering iron. This upper edge, it doesn't want to get pulled in. There has to be a way I can get in there to heat it or clean it up or something. Let's try more flux. Okay. Getting it all the way in there. And go. edge doesn't want to get cleaned up. Let's heat it up again and then try it one more time. Yeah, that's a lot better, but it still doesn't look perfect. Anyways, we'll just continue on. Let's go ahead and heat this side up as well. Okay, that's probably about as good as we're gonna get it. Let's heat up this. Let's get all this cleaned up. Adding more flux and more solder for these. Way too much. Okay. Let's go ahead and heat that all up. Put some new solder on it. Okay. There's that. I'm probably gonna have to flip it again. Alright, let me take a look at the bottom, see what it looks like. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to flip it and then clean it up, add new solder to the other side as well. Oops, sorry. It's difficult working with the camera upside down, so it's like mirrored. Alright, let me flip this over and I'll be back. Alright, let's do this. Let's again try and clean up the solder over here. Okay, now how am I going to pull all this solder out? Let's see. Let's try. Try heating this and see if we can pull the solder through. Nope, nothing. I'm gonna probably have to try the solder wick, but I don't think it's gonna work too well. We'll try. This stuff's not even melting too well. Whatever this solder's must be connected to. It's working better. This one's also difficult. These must be like ground. Those ones must be ground pins or something because they're really hard to melt. Let's try this. kind of worked, almost. Okay, the middle one worked really well. Actually, that pulled both of these. Okay, so we need to still get this guy. Let's get some new solder in there. This one's a huge pain in the butt. I might have to pull the solder the other direction for this one because there's too many components on the other side, I believe. I think that's why it's not going. Alright, let's put a little more solder there and see. We'll try. One more time from this side. If not, we'll have to do the other side. Yeah, we're gonna have to do the other side. What about this guy? Those don't come out. It's getting like black stuff burnt on it. What in the world? What is that black stuff? These are probably going to need to be from the other side. Those two pins are really hard. They're not melting. So let me flip it over again, and then we'll try and get this one from the other side. I think the other two are clear. Alright, we're back. Let's go ahead and try this again from the other side. Doesn't seem to want to come through though, so I don't know. We'll see. And, oh, that might have worked. Sorry, I gotta put my head over top to see. Alright, let's try these corner ones. Yeah, these, they can take a lot of heat. They're not, let me take a closer look here. Okay, we almost got all of the other side. I'm gonna flip it over. I gotta be careful because it's gonna fall out like last time, I think. But let's see. I'm just gonna heat that a little bit because we got most of it, but the hole's not completely cleared open on this side. Let me see if I can pull that last bit of solder through. Nope. Flip it back the other way. Sorry if I went out of view. It's hard to record this. Let's see, I think this middle one. Yeah, okay. Got it. There we go. These guys seem okay. Alright, these last ones, they really don't want to come out. Let's try again. Yeah, they really don't want to come out. I'm gonna try with the what do you call, wick, solder wick, and let's see if we can get it out with that. Uh-oh, my solder wick is missing. Let me see if I can find it. I'll be back. Alright, let's try the solder wick and see if we can somehow get that to come out. It doesn't want to come out. Let me cut this off. I'm gonna put some more flux on there to make it more effective. Okay. All right, let's try this again. I don't think it's working. I did pull a little bit. It's only pulling like a tiny bit. Cut that off again. Let's try some more flux here. Okay. All right, let's try it again. Barely working. Okay, you might have to go from the other side after this, and hopefully let's try this one as well. Okay. All right, let's try some more. We're getting there a little bit, little by little. Might have to just push the charge port through while I'm heating it because it doesn't want to go. All right, give me a second. I'm gonna clean off. Let's try and clean off this the flux. I'm gonna use some isopropyl alcohol on a paper towel, and we're just gonna try and clean it off. All right, sorry, it's garbage day, so it's noisy right now. All right, let's see if we can clean off the flux here. Make it a little bit easier to see and easier to work on. Okay, it's cleaner now, easier to see. All right, let me flip this over and I'll be back again. Alright, back, we flipped it over. Let's go ahead and clean up this side as well, because there's a lot of flux all over everything. And hopefully I'll make it easier to see and easier to get it repaired. Alright. Wow, there's a lot of flux kind of burn on there. gonna need a new piece of paper to do this better. Three in the middle definitely look good. Two outer ones are going to be a big pain. This stuff is not cleaning off too well. Almost there. Adjust this. Okay. Make sure it's being held down well. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue cleaning this up. Let's see if I can pull the excess off of this as well. Okay, now the solder wick is stuck to that. Let's put a little flux on it. And hopefully that will help wick it all the way in. Oh man, it's stuck on there. Come on, let go. This solder doesn't seem to want to melt well. I think this is one of the ones we were having issues with earlier. Let's try and get some solder in there and then see if I can pull it back through. Yeah, that one doesn't really want to go completely out. About as good as we're going to get that one. Let's clean up this stuff here. Yeah, this stuff, these two pins don't want to like melt, so it must be a ground. Alright, let's clean this up and then try using the wick to pull it out. But it's not looking like it's gonna happen. Some of it out. Now this is stuck to it. Come on, let go. Yeah, this must be to a ground. It's like really hard to melt. go. Okay. Try a little bit more. So I don't know how we're gonna do these pins that don't melt at all. Let's try this one. We'll put a little flux there to make it melt better. Okay, let's see. It's working, but not quite. Okay. Getting it, slowly getting there. Okay, let's put some more flux and do that again. It worked pretty well. Okay, try this again. Come out. Not working. Let's try a little more flux. Let's cut this off and do it again. Slowly, slowly but surely. It's definitely now below the surface. Okay, let's try this again. Almost. All right, let's try this side as well now. I need more flux for this one. It stuck to it again. Jeez. Okay, let's put some more flux and see if that helps. This side's definitely much more difficult. But if that's the last pin, hopefully I'll be able to heat it up and then push the charge port through. Wow, this one's really stuck. Yeah, that one really doesn't want to come out. Okay, let's trim this and try again a little bit more. Okay, let's put a bit more flux on it. Alright, let's try it again. Alright, let's try getting it to suck in. Come on. It's only getting like very tiny bits at a time. All right, I'm gonna flip the board over again and then we'll try one last try. All right, let's give this one more try. It's looking like it really doesn't want to go though. Okay, let's put a little flux on this. We're most likely gonna just have to heat it and then push it through, because it doesn't look like it's gonna want to go. Let's try this. Okay, looks like that side's as much as we're gonna get it. Let's try the one other one and then flip it one more time, take a look and see what we can do. A little more flux here. All right, last try. Let's see what we got. It is pulling more of it out. Okay. Put this off and try it again. All right, flip it one more time. All right, last try. Let's see what we got. Clean up. Do we need to add any more flux here? No. This one's really like, it's leaving behind stuff there as well. I'm gonna try one other thing. I have my little metal toothpick thing. Let's see if I can somehow poke through there while I'm heating it up. No, I don't think it's working. Let's try with a little more flux, but if that doesn't work, then I guess we're gonna have to try just heating it and see. While I'm heating it, I can't push that through. Nope, doesn't want to work. Let's try putting a little flux on, a little solder on it. Nothing. Nope. Alright, doesn't look like we can push it through, so we're just gonna have to clean up that solder and then, well, I don't know, we'll see what we can do with this. I don't know what else to try. We're pretty much at the end. We're just gonna have to not waking it up. It's the best we can do. I don't know. All right, let's go ahead and get the charge port and see if we can somehow get that thing in. All right, so here's the charge port. All right, it goes in from up here. I mean, the wings go in, this goes, but the problem is these back pins. I don't know how we're gonna get those in. So, all right, let me flip this over again, and then we'll have to see. I'm gonna have to try and heat this and then see if I can push one corner at a time. All right, I'll be back. All right, we flipped it over. Let's see what we can do. So we're basically going to hold this into place, and I'm gonna be trying to push the corner in while I'm like heating it up, and we'll see if we can somehow get that pin to go in. We're just gonna add a bunch of solder there, and we're just gonna hope. We're gonna have to just hope it works. Okay, so I put some solder on the soldering iron tip, and we're just gonna heat it while we try and push it into place. Okay, so make sure everything else is in nicely. Okay, then we're gonna try and push this, heat it up. Come on, go in there. Doesn't seem to want to go. Actually, I think it's in. It's holding itself. Let's flip it over and take a look. It's kind of in, yeah. Okay. Let's try and do the other corner now. We're gonna have to just slowly work our way corner by corner, and hopefully we can slowly work it up higher and higher. Okay. Add a little more solder. All right, we're gonna heat this side and pull it up. Ooh, that pin's getting hot, so I think we're good. Okay, let's go ahead and try and push this one again. Okay, I think I feel the pin coming through. That's good. Let's go ahead and do this one. I don't feel this pin, so this side's not as good. But it might be all we can do. It's getting super hot. Okay. Let me see here. Let's flip it over and take a look again. Uh-oh, I think my phone battery's almost dead. Ooh. this one's not lined up now. Okay, I need to flip it and push the other part in now. Oops, need to make sure this board doesn't fall down. Okay. I'm gonna flip this over now. And we'll take a look at the other side, because now, okay, that didn't work, I dropped the board. So this side is not lined up now, but as you can see, this, oops, sorry, what am I looking at? Can't even see what I'm looking at. This mirror thing is, okay, so this one is in, this one needs to go, and this side also needs to go down. So now, I gotta figure out how I'm gonna push this side down. This one I definitely need to push this leg over and slowly work it in as well. Okay, so I'm gonna probably get this in first. Let me zoom out here. I'm probably gonna get this piece in first, and then the thing holding that will end up pulling it. So while I pull this in, okay. So now that I'm holding that, I can hopefully get some solder into this. It's gonna burn me, probably. But it is what it is. Let me move this out of the way. Okay. Let me see how I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna push that in and hold that into place. And then I need to heat this side with some solder and flux. So I'm gonna put the flux in first. And this is most likely gonna burn my hand. All right, so I'm gonna get some solder onto the soldering iron. Okay, now the soldering iron is prepped. I'm gonna push this guy in. Oops. Goes in. Okay, this needs to stay bent outwards over there. Yeah, this is gonna be tough. How am I gonna make it stay in there? Okay, I'll use my fingernail and then risk burning my finger off. I don't even know what I'm showing you guys. This is that's gonna end up burning my finger off. I need to hold it like this, probably. Let's see if I can push it with the needle nose pliers down. Okay, that should be good. It's staying in the right spot now. Okay, now while I'm holding this, I'm gonna have to put the solder onto it. Where'd the solder that I put on it go? I need to put more solder on the iron. Okay. Then I've got to get that onto. And go in there. Okay, it's not really wanting to stay. So now I'm gonna have to solder it from this side. And the weight of the board is helping pull it down, so I think that should be okay. Let me see if I can solder this one here. All right, let me get this clamped up or in the thing and I'll be back. All right, let's try this again. Now we'll put some of the flux here and we'll try and just solder this side down. Okay. Pull that down and then let's try and solder this. It's not wanting to get soldered into place. Need a ball of solder to hold it. Oh, we got solder on the ground. Need it to stick to this, not to that. Well, let's just spread that solder thin now since it's stuck on there already. That one's not wanting to go on. I don't know what to do. What do I do? What do I do? Oh man, it doesn't want to go. Let's try this again, I guess. This is taking way more effort and time than I was expecting. Why is this one being such a pain? Okay, well. Let's see. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, finally got that soldered down. Now, are we going to be able to heat this up to get that leg in? Is it going to want to flow into place? It's not looking like it. Actually, maybe, might be now. Okay. Let's see. So let's try and heat this up again and see if we can move it anymore. Oh, now it just popped back down. Okay, now it's holding itself in place. That's good. Let's go ahead and flip this over again. All right, let's try heating this one and see if it will fall in. I don't think it's going to happen, but it's worth a try. Put a little solder on it. Now let's heat this leg. How am I going to get that leg to fall in? I don't even know how I can get the heat to the bottom. I can't push on it, it'll just burn my hand off. Okay, let's try putting some flux in there. Since heating it from the other side's not working. Try this. Let's try pushing it down with this. It looks like it might have gone a little bit down. I don't know. Alright, let's try getting some solder down there. I don't know if it's gonna work, but we'll try. Yeah, I don't know. Let's flip it over and take a look again. Alright, let's try pushing it some more. Heat it again from this side. Get off the excess solder. And we'll heat it from this side again. Let's get away the excess solder again. Okay, let's hit this. It doesn't want to melt this one corner. That's the problem. I don't know what to do about that. The ground is too much. Has too much thermal mass there. Let's put a little more solder. See, that one back pin does not want to go. Okay, I think all the pins are up far enough that I can get them. I'm gonna have to test this pin for continuity though. Okay, let's do a quick test with the voltmeter and see if we're actually getting this pin going all the way through. So at least then we'll know that we should be okay. Okay, I'm gonna use a voltmeter. Right. Let's take a look here. So we're gonna poke this guy and this guy. Okay, these aren't grounded. This. So I was right. These two are actually ground. Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. But now let's see if we get this pin. If it. See. Oh. Okay, it's going. So I'm just touching this pin. Yep. Okay, so that pin is good, it's soldered. So we're gonna now just have to solder the last 3. Well, 4 technically, I guess. Let me put away this and I'll be back. All Alright, well, my phone's at 7%, so I had to plug it in. Hopefully it's not making any buzzing sounds or anything like that. Let's go ahead now and get the last few parts soldered in. Okay, we're going to put some flux over those areas. Okay. This one might be a little tricky. I'm going to have to test them all with the voltmeter afterwards, just because the pins are a little bit deep down in there. They don't make them stick up through very far, and that has me a little worried. Alright, so get some flux in there. Alright, let's first get the grounds all soldered in. Okay, we'll get this guy. This one soldered over here. Okay, there we go. Double check this guy. Good. Alright, let's go ahead and get these tiny ones. It's a little tricky, but okay. Good. Oh, last one. Alright, now we gotta flip it over, double check the other side, and then we should be good. Alright, so let's take a look at this side. Alright, there's no flux here, so we're gonna have to put some flux on this side as well. This side, you can see it all made it through, so we should be okay, but I'm gonna try and get, I don't know if it's gonna stick to here. It doesn't look like it will. We'll try. Get a little bit through on this side just to make sure it holds tight. Okay. Get some cleaned up. Alright. Up. Seem to want to stick to this. We might have to just live with that. Alright, let's try this one. This one worked fine. Why isn't the other one working? Okay, you can see that one's soldered well. All the solder is just going onto the ground around it. Let's see if I can even clean that stuff off now. Try and clean this. The solder wick works on these big puddles here. Yeah, it doesn't want to go into that little gap there for some reason, so I don't know. Okay, let's see. Let me see. Maybe I need to try and clean it a little bit first with some isopropyl alcohol, and then it will stick. Let's try. There's not much room here. That's part of the problem, to really solder this in. Let's see. All right, let's try a little more, but I don't think it's gonna work. No, it's not. Oh, there we go. And basically had to fill that whole gap. Okay, there we go. Let's go ahead and do these. Perfect. Perfect. All right. This one here. This one needs some flux. All right. Last pin, and then we gotta reassemble. Put a little more solder in there. But it looks like it should be good. All right. Last thing we need to do is to test all of it. But it looks like we're good to go. Okay. We're done. We should be done with the soldering iron. Okay, so now we just gotta clean it up and then test it. So I'm gonna clean this up with some isopropyl alcohol again on a paper towel. We're just gonna wipe all that brown stuff away best we can. More. Looks like it's working well. All right, let's use a toothbrush to clean it up a little. Give me a second. Okay. Brush this off a little bit. All right, and then we'll flip it over, do the other side. Give me a second. Okay, let's go ahead and clean this side. More isopropyl alcohol. All right. After all that, everything will be working okay. Okay, let me get a new one. Okay. brush this off as well. Okay. Let's get a little bit more isopropyl alcohol, clean it a little bit more. I think we're just about done though. Okay. Okay, there we go. I'll brush this off again. Alright, so next thing we gotta do, we gotta test each one. So I'm gonna now tilt it over. Let's actually use the little clip thing. So let me get this all clipped up and I'll be back. Alright, let's test the pins. So we're going to test the front and back. So first thing, obviously, we can just test these. These should both be connected to each other. Oh, there you go. I was like, why isn't it shorting? Okay, now we'll check this pin. Let me see if I can zoom in to show you guys better. I'm like running out of room here. Okay. So there you can see all the pins, and hopefully you can see this. Oh, not really. There's the glare. How do I need to put something under here. Let's try that. Okay. All right. So now we're going to test this pin, and we're just going to touch from the bottom. Yep. All right. Second one. Second pin. We'll touch that one, and we'll go to the bottom. Do this. I can't see both sides at the same time. Yep. Okay. Third pin. Okay. Fourth pin. Yep. And the last pin. Yep. And okay. And these two pins don't, even though they're both to ground, I think they don't actually, oh, they do short to each other. Okay. So these two pins and these two pins are both to ground. Okay. Anyways, that's it. Let's go ahead and reassemble this thing. All right. I'll be back once I get all of this separated. But you can see how I set it up and it's being held with those clamps, so very useful. All right, this helping hands thing has been very useful. And yeah, if you do a lot of solder work or other things where you need something to be kind of held down in place like that, this thing's pretty nice. All right, with all those magnets and everything, works really well. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this done. All right, it's time to reassemble this thing, and yeah, let's go ahead and do that. All right, so we're gonna start over here. Remember, there were several cables that were underneath that we need to plug in. So let's go ahead and first do the keyboard backlight. So this latch needs to be up. Okay, to make it easier, we'll peel that off. And sorry, it's gonna be hard to show this, but there we go. Okay, get that lined up, get that in place. Make sure it's in. It's a little tricky. Keep that latch up. Okay, get that in. Once you have that, flip that latch down. We're gonna then flip the whole thing over. Make sure all these cables that were on top end up back on top. We're going to need to do the speaker connection here. Okay, where was that one here? Oh, it's all the way over there. Okay, so we're going to just line this all up. You can go ahead and get the speaker cable, but let's go ahead and do this one first. Pull that out of the way. Make sure this cable's out of the way. Okay, touchpad cable out of the way. And we'll carefully lower this down. Oh, we also need to get this back in. I took it out earlier. So let's get that back in first. Let's undo the keyboard backlight connector. Okay, so because this was like flopping all over the place, I disconnected it. Okay, So this one, how'd it go? Like this? Is that right? How did this fit in there? There's a slot, and then there's a, okay, so it was going like this. So that means this would plug in this way. Okay. All right, plugging it in back upside down. Make sure that latches up. Get that in. Make sure it's in all the way, and then flip the latch down. You can stick back the adhesive down if you want. Okay, and the keyboard backlight connector here. Get this back on. Okay, latch that back down. Then you can stick down the adhesive, flip this back over. Again, make sure all the cables and connections end up back on top. Okay. Slowly spin it around. Okay. This cable back. Oops, sorry. You guys can't even see what I'm doing. I need to. If I zoom out too much, then you won't be able to see well, and if I zoom in too much, you won't be able to see. All right. Make sure everything is good, and all the cables that need to be on top are on top. Okay, you can go ahead and stick this back down. Okay, then we'll go ahead and get this back in. So line that up. Okay, get that in, and then you can stick this back down. You need to put this screw back in. What do I do with all the screwdriver bits? Oh, okay. This one. I need to use the PH0, JS0. Alright, that screw, if I remember correctly, was down here. Make sure to push that all the way against the outer portion, and then screw that down. Good. Alright, we need to get the speaker connection back in, so line that up. And then pinch that in. Good. Alright, don't forget this cable here. Let me zoom in a bit so you guys can see better. Okay. Make sure this latches up. Then get that cable in. Very important that you get this right, because once we put the heatsink back on, can't be messing around with it. Alright. Then this cable, you want to push it all the way so that this kind of tucks back in a little bit. Oops, sorry, you can't even see what I'm doing. But I went from here, went that way, and then stuck that back down. Okay. Make sure this stuff seems aligned weird, but that's because the charge port, I think, yeah. Okay, so we got all of that. Let's go ahead and get the power button connector back in. Try and get under the blue tab, will make it easier. Come on. Okay, it slides under there. Then latch that down. Okay, we had a lot of screws, so this is going to be a little tricky, but okay. Do we need to put back the heat sinks and stuff first? We'll wait till we get back the heat sink just in case. Okay, so I think the fans need to go before the heat sinks though. So let's go ahead and get the fan in here. All right. I hope so. Yeah, because this needs to go underneath. I'm going to get this in. We do need to switch to the PH1. Okay, then we'll switch back to the PH0 or JS0. We'll get these two. I hope I'm not missing anything. We'll get this one. Have a random screw here that I have to remember. Where did that come from? Did I take any other random screws out that need to go underneath? Okay, let's do the other fan. Okay, so this fan goes here. Put the PH0, JS0 screw here. Wait, was it this one or this one? I think it's this one because the other one is for the SSD. Okay. And we'll switch back over to the PH1, JS1. Get this guy in. Alright, we're going to take the wireless card screw back out. We'll get the wireless card back in. Like that. Okay, lower it down. Get that screw back in. Make sure to push these back into here. Okay, we got the, did I push that in all the way? Yep. Okay, we got the speaker, or sorry, the keyboard connector. Wait, I see. Okay, watch that back down. We got the CMOS BIOS RTC real-time clock battery. Pinch that in. Got the touchpad, trackpad connector here. We'll get this in. Come on. Try and grab the blue tab will help. Get that in. There we go. Latch that down. We'll leave the battery for later. You don't want to plug in the battery until you're done with everything. Okay, fan connector here. Just line it up, and then you want to push from both sides down. Okay, we got the other battery, or sorry, the other fan connector here. Line that up, and then pinch that. You want to pinch both sides because if you just push this way and the solder's bad, you can rip that off the board. Okay, what else? Should we just put everything in? I guess, why not? I think we can do the heatsink after. So let's go ahead and get this piece back on top. Okay, where was this? This was here. Okay, so that goes there. That's like the lock mechanism or whatever you call. Okay, so that one and this one. I almost never see anyone use a lock for the computers. It's more for business use. But yeah, alright, let's reseat the RAM just in case. I'm gonna pull this up. Just make sure the connectors are clean. Pull both ends together like this. I always pinch the two. Click it down, same thing with this one. Okay, same thing. I like to wiggle it as I pull and then click it down. Oh, what is it hitting? There we go. Okay, are we missing anything else? Oops, I should have brushed this real quick while I had it out. Let me... Okay, I'm gonna blow the dust out of these fans. Oops, sorry, I wasn't even showing what I was doing. I'm brushing the fans while I'm kind of holding it so there's some resistance. You can see the dust building up there. Okay, I'm gonna use an air blower, electric air blower outside. I'm gonna dust these out. I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. As you can see, it's a lot cleaner now. Okay, did we forget anything? Okay, nope. Let's go ahead and continue putting the screws. I think we need to switch back to the PH0, JS0. And let's go ahead and get these. So we have this one here. Pretty sure I'm missing something because I have a screw that's from the middle of nowhere. Alright, there's that. I might have to rewatch my video to make sure. We got this piece here. Okay. We'll loosely fit that first. Get the second one. Make sure that these are in the right place because the screw's going to want to go there later. Okay. I don't know if I'm missing something. I'm gonna have to rewatch my video to make sure. All right, we got the SSD over here. Did we have a screw under there? Because there's a hole. Let me double check my video and I'll be back. All right, I figured it out. So we have this small screw, okay, in this corner. Then we have the dark gray screws. All right, there's one that was underneath the logic board or motherboard right here, or not, the heatsink. Okay, so that one. Then we had another one over here. Okay, and then we have the SSD here. It goes in at an angle, and then get the screw. This goes down. What is it hitting? Oh, whoops. Make sure the wireless antenna does go underneath this piece, okay? Push that back under there. Come on, there we go. Speaker, that's the wireless antenna, okay? Hook it around there as well. Okay, I was wondering, good thing I didn't try and push the SSD down hard. Lower that. Get the screw in. Okay, get the little bracket with the thermal pad back on top. That one goes here. I'm going to loosely fit it first. Second one goes over here, loosely fitting it. And then the last one goes up here. All right, now we can go ahead and tighten them all down. Hopefully I got everything reconnected. All right, we got all those screws. We got to get the hard drive back in. So this one, make sure that little latch is up. Okay, get that in place. Then get this in. Cable might be difficult to get back in. Come on. There we go. Then latch that down. Hopefully you guys were able to see. Alright, let's get the hard drive screws back in. 4 screws. And then all that's left is to redo the thermal paste for the heatsink. Oh, let's switch over to the PH1JS1 screwdriver. All that's left to do is the thermal paste for the heatsink and reconnect the battery, and we should be good to go. In theory. Alright, let's get the last screw here. Let's clean up the CPU and GPU dies one last time. Okay, fold this up, and we'll get some nice proof alcohol in there. Wipe this down, wipe that down. I should have like brushed it a bit better here. Okay, well, there we go. Clean it one last time. Make sure it's dry. Okay, there we go. We'll get the heatsink. Do the same. I also cleaned the vents for the heatsink because they were kind of dusty as well, but now they're good. All right. Clean this one last time here. All right, now we need to put the thermal paste. So these, you don't really need to use too much thermal paste. Usually people put way too much. As you noticed, it went all outside. You don't need that much, okay? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna put blob here. The GPU is pretty big, so we are gonna need quite a bit here, but not, you don't want a crazy amount. How did an ant get in here? Sorry, there was an ant in it somehow. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna put quite a big amount, but not too crazy, okay? Just like this, blob. If you want to make sure the corners get something, you can put like a tiny bit on the corners, but usually it's gonna be okay. We'll just put a tiny bit on each corner. Okay, just because this one, the thing is so big. So when this smushes out, it's gonna make like a big oval and it'll cover all of that. All right, this one's much smaller, so you don't need as much. We're just gonna put like kind of like a grain of rice, just like that. Okay. It doesn't look like much, but it spreads super thin, so don't worry. Again, if you put too much, it's gonna overflow everywhere. Although if you're not sure, you can put a little bit more, but you don't want to put a crazy amount. And also, depending on what kind of thermal paste you're using, you want to be careful, because if it's conductive and it goes into these, it can cause some problems. Okay, but there we go. Okay, now we just got to get the heatsink back on and we should be good to go. Let's zoom out. Okay, let's zoom out all the way so you can see the whole thing. The bottom cover, again, the customer already kind of took it out, took the screws out, so it's not going to line up right. Anyways, this, we just got to line the screw holes back up. Lower it into place. And then what I like to do is I like to twist it backwards to hear it click before I screw it down. And they are numbered, so we got the first one here. Twist it, you hear it click. All right, 1, 2, 3. Then we go to number 2. What is this? Number 2 is over here. You hear it click. 1, 2, 3. Number 3, click. 1, 2, 3. Number 4 here. Click. 1, 2, 3. Number 5. Click. 1, 2, 3. Number 6. Click. 1, 2, 3. Then we just go again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. I think the customer's here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And we just keep doing that until it's all the way tight. 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I think it's pretty much done. 4, 5, and the last one. All right, customer's here, so I need to get that, and I'll be back. Let me just make sure these are all tightened into place. 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, I'm back. Let's go ahead and finish this. We already tightened all of this. We need to make sure to push down the RAM cover. Just make sure the edges are lined up and then click it down. Okay, now we just got to plug the battery back in. We'll plug it in and hopefully everything is good. All right, pinch the thing together just like that. We're going to go ahead and plug it in before we put the bottom cover back on. And let's see what we got. So, plug the cable into here. Okay, they weren't having the charging light up, so let's see. Oh no, I think it's still dead. I think they fried it. They were telling me like it was having issues and it wasn't lighting up and stuff before, so they were worried because they kept like bending the cable around and then they said the light stopped working. So I might have done all of this for nothing. Let's see. Oh no, did I really do all of that for nothing? Oh, that was so much work for nothing to happen. Seriously? That was so much work for nothing to happen. If only they stopped messing around with it when they first broke it. They just kept using it and then they destroyed it. Yeah, it seems like it's completely dead. Nothing's happening. Replace the charge port for nothing, sadly. All that time spent and we got nothing. They must have shorted something along the lines here. I could possibly have my partner take a look at it. He doesn't make videos, but they can maybe diagnose to figure out what exactly is wrong. But again, they don't really make videos or anything. So that's pretty much it. I guess I just wasted over, I think it took me over 3 hours to do all of this. So sadly, no luck. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this helped you guys out. To put the bottom cover back on, you just slap it back on and click all the edges and put the screws. But yeah, I have another video showing that. So yeah, again, hopefully it helped. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Hopefully you didn't short yours out before replacing the port. All right, let's drop this. Bye.